These coats were a...
Now watch the players, the coaches, the game-breaking plays of National Football League action.
It was a game a handful of spectators came to see. A tug of war, 22 nameless men grappling in the mud. They called it pro football.
Yeah, you line up here, get a program. Football line up here. Got to take it down, fella. Yeah, you line up here, get a program. Yeah, you football line up here, get a program. Line up.
Else that didn't get ball. You're going to be sorry when you're sober. Right, alligator. Hey, Washington! Have no fear, Schultz is here.
It starts with a whistle and ends with a gun. 60 minutes of close-in action from kickoff to touchdown. This is pro football, the sport of our time. The men who play it are the best there are. Disciplined professionals who perform on a stage 100 yards long. For the audience crowding the stands, the drama begins with a slap of leather in the song of Men in Motion. But for 1,500 professional football players, it begins in the relentless heat of midsummer.
15-29, even.
Improve day by day by day, and all of a sudden you're a lot better. And if you want a job now, you got to work hard.
Sit! Take him up. Keep him in front. Keep him in front. Snap that back. Snap that back.
The screen is like Novocaine. You gotta wait and let it take effect. See? See, the teasing is over. That second move, boy, get going back because you release the ball.
Green Bay is home team. You're visiting team. You call it as it's up in the air.
11 trained men face to face on the field of play. Each man a specialist, but one man stands above the rest. He occupies the most critical position in the game. He is the quarterback. He plots, directs, and executes the on-field fortunes of his team. The quarterback lives in a world of pressure. How well he lives with it and reacts to it determines how good he is. He must have a cool disregard for danger and the courage to take punishment. The quarterback has two formidable allies. One is deception. By clever faking, he can confuse the defense and open a clear path for the play. His second ally is the forward pass. It's a long bomb. A screen pass over charging linemen. A bullet from the midst of a traffic jam. The pass in the hands of a pro quarterback is a bolt of lightning that can strike anywhere, anytime. Each quarterback in the NFL has his own particular style. There's Fran Tarkenton, who seeded the word scramble into the vocabulary of pro football. He may pass, run, or just drop back 20 or 30 yards before he makes up his mind. Sonny Jurgensen of the Washington Redskins, a whiplash passer whose rifle arm can put the ball anywhere on the field. Jurgensen is considered the finest Redskin quarterback since the Sime Barr era. John Unitas of the Baltimore Colts, a classic quarterback whose timing and control is cool, swift, and precise. Unitas, a fierce competitor with a flair for surprises. Bart Starr of the Green Bay Packers, a careful field general as well as an exponent of the calculated risk. He has guided his team to 4 world championships. Second only in importance to the mind and arm of the quarterback is the instinct and legs of the runners.
Give me 18 inches of daylight. That's all I need.
When Gale Sayers gets those 18 inches of daylight, the Chicago Bears usually win. When he doesn't, they don't. It's as simple as that. Gale Sayers, the halfback, the whirlwind runner that comes along once in a generation. He's an attack all by himself, a spinning, dancing dervish. runner with speed and breakaway ability. Every team in the NFL that boasts a balanced attack has a Phantom Flyer in its lineup. The power gear in the offensive machine is the fullback.
We tell our ball carrier to come across hard and fast till he gets the ball. Once he gets it, to come under control and button hook slightly. Key to block on the linebacker, or key to block of the YN. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Jim Taylor, number 31, is a fullback, and this is the way of fullbacks. Power is the prime requisite. Quickness an asset. The approach is not subtle. The yards he gains, the toughest. These are the runners, the racehorse halfbacks and locomotive fullbacks. Theirs is the speed and the fury, and to them must go the glory. This yard of space is called no man's land. Football games are won or lost by control of this narrow strip of land. The battle for it is a violent one. The hands of combat, the hands of pros. This is the part of the game rarely seen by the spectator. The shattering impact of a block. The mountainous size of an onrushing defender. The splintering force of a forearm shiver. 1 ton of muscle with a one-track mind. Down in the dirt, the lair of the lineman. This is where the game is played. The fringe of no man's land is patrolled by the linebackers. The search and destroy men of the defense. Number 50, search and destroy. Number 58, search and destroy. Sunday after Sunday, pro quarterbacks have learned that whatever play they call, a linebacker is likely to meet it head on. This is the face of the tiger. And this, the action of the tiger. Linebackers provide the defense with enormous flexibility. They can charge through the line into the enemy backfield or slide laterally against plays to the outside. Roving far from the ruck of the scrimmage line is the pass receiver. His range carries him into heavy traffic. or through the shifting dangers of a broken field. The pass catches of pro football's men on the run, measuring their survival by the twist of a shoulder. A head fake, the burning speed that cuts them free. The philosophy of successful pass receiving is simple. Be alone when the ball arrives. But with a big tight end like John Mackey, number 88, it doesn't make any difference. Confident hands and disciplined patterns of Raymond Berry, number 82, have made him the most proficient pass catcher in history. The rapport that exists between a gifted passer and his favorite receiver is part instinct, part practice, and part luck. They have the hands, the moves, the grace, and a willing disregard for the consequences. Opposing the receiver is the defensive back. One man alone facing another man alone. A man whose skill and wits he knows and fears but must cancel. His directive, stop the play. Guess and gamble, but don't fail. They're the last line of the defense. They pick up the pieces that the line and linebackers let through. For the defensive back, the glory is great. Or the disgrace, absolute. For others, there is anger, despair, exultation, moments of emotion that pierce the frenzy of play to reveal the man behind the uniform. Pro football. They play it under the autumn moon, in the heat of a Texas afternoon. In the ice bucket chill of a Wisconsin winter. In the snow, fog, and wind. And thousands come to watch or sleep, to cheer, or stand in silent adulation. And millions more sit at home before TV sets, pursuing the elusive magic of the Golden Game.
I
right, 60 on 4 in the ISO. Very good. Ready, 1-1.
If I anticipate a dog, and I go round right 83, that's Gary on the quick post.
Yeah.
Have him do an XV out, quick V out rather than the post.
Okay, Don.
It'll be still a dog pass, but tell him not to take a half hour to make the V out.
Don't take a half hour to make the V out either.
That's the official time.
Tell him about it. Tell him on the short yardage and go ahead and hit you. If he stays there, I'll go ahead and run a shoot. If he goes out, if I run up. You think you would hit that fast?
Timmy, go in the next play and tell him to remember the stutter pass, break right. Now, if Shinny comes, block him in. You got it?
Hey, listen, tell Mel the next time on that Taylor now, he knows he's going for the turn in for the pick, so he wants to be ready to come across it.
Okay. Now, let's go. Right now.
Well, you can't release inside and Mike dropped off, so I figured he was playing it. All right, well, all right.
Hey, I just told him about that late play. What do you call us? Interference? What do you call us? Hold him?
Whittingham grabbed this turn.
Boy, the gears in that guy's mind didn't mesh for a long time, I'll tell you that. He's got to have more conviction than that. Pretty slow decision, Stan. Pretty slow decision. The ball hits the ground and bounces and he comes in. It's too late. Come on. Turn the car. That's the way to run, easy boy. It's the way to run. That's the way to run. It's a face mask there. You got to look at those things. First down by 2 feet. 2 feet. He's got it easy. I can't see. Oh, the signal's way over here. He's got it by 2 feet.
Look at that now. See how your eyes work?
A
You
foot.
said 2 feet.
All right, well, what's the difference between 2 feet? 8 inches.
A call. The ball is snapped and the play continues. A drum of man on man in a race against the clock. It's precision, persistence, power. The unleashed speed of the kickoff. The whistling feet of a great runner. The reckless fury of a goal line stand. The crowning glory of a winning touchdown. The swelling roar of the crowd. It's called pro football.
This is NFL Action, and I'm Pat Summerall. In the past, there were 2 distinct parts of pro football action. One was the relentless struggle waged by the mountainous linemen. The other was the razzle-dazzle of their more acrobatic teammates. To be a lineman, you simply had to be huge, immovable, and willing to fight the unheralded battle of the trenches. But the game has changed, and so have the men who play the line. Now they are as quick as they are huge, as agile as they are fierce. Eyeball to eyeball, the play of today's linemen may well decide the outcome of the contest.
In professional football, the quarterback is the master strategist who plots and directs his team's destiny. The instruments he employs for victory are the backs and the ends who are light, fast, and elusive, with the ability to excite and explode at any instant. They're all flash, all beauty, but above all, they are small people with little toleration for punishment. Looming above the glamour the backs represent are the biggest men in sport, the linemen. Men of huge dimensions, built and constructed for contact of awesome proportion. The linemen are the invisible parts of the offense and defense. Their war is a lonely war that is submerged and fought in the trenches where survival is the only law. From the time they strap on their helmets till the end of the game, the linemen are the meanest and toughest players on the field, the rogue elephant of professional sport. The linemen wage their conflicts in a small area known as the pit. This is a shadow world where a game is won or lost, where one finds the most skilled and complex battles in professional sport. In the pit, these invisible warriors find themselves face to face with someone every bit as tough, as talented, as respected, and as feared. The catalyst for action is the snap of the ball that sets off a dazzling swirl of big men in motion. Caught in this tempest, the lineman is as apt to lose his helmet as his head. The linemen are hidden from the public view, the scrutiny of the television camera. Their abilities are not measured by touchdowns, but the facility of absorbing punishment and dishing it out. Easily as he strides off a stage of destruction, the lineman can walk on to one of classic grace and precision, but one that is no less violent. It is an arena of combat that pits man against man, strength against strength, with the purpose of removing or annihilating the man in front of you. An offensive lineman must present an impenetrable barrier to shield a quarterback from any clear and present danger, and also provide the backs with a battering ram that guides them through a maze of defenders. While the role of the offensive lineman has basically been one of protection, the historic task of his defensive counterpart has been a mission of destruction. The defensive lineman must stop the offensive flow any way possible. He must disrupt its momentum, wear down its personnel, and finally make it come to a complete halt. For defensive linemen is reserved the mean part of the game. During the 1950s, a complex offense with passing and running from diverse formations made the old seven-man defensive line outdated. In years past, a lineman was not particularly mobile or intelligent, just immovable. Faced with a wide-open game, the defense was forced to make a change. The most important reason for the change was the rise of the superstar in the late 50s and early 60s. There was a fullback named Jimmy Brown and a group of extraordinary quarterbacks. Quarterbacks who could dissect a defense in an instant, or ones like Fran Tarkington, whose unorthodox style made calculated strategy obsolete. There were fleet receivers like Bob Hayes, and number 45, Homer Jones, who forced a quicker, more mobile pass rush. And then there was Gale Sayers. Number 40 was an offense all by himself, and more than any one individual, changed defensive concepts. So forced to cope with quick striking offenses laden with superstars, the defensive line took out 3 men and made them linebackers. Suddenly, with only 4 men to challenge the passer and protect against the run, a lineman had to be bigger, faster, and infinitely smarter. It was now that defense became a science. No longer did the offense have the decided edge tactically or physically. Quarterbacks and setbacks found escape from the determined pursuit of a lineman a dreaded nightmare. The quarterback became a fugitive. For every plan, each step he took, every direction he went, there was a lineman there to meet him. And quarterbacks started talking to themselves. Though the linemen got bigger, stronger, and faster, their historic role remained unchanged. They still had to stop the running play and rush the passer. A lineman rarely gets 2 chances to halt a runner in flight. If he fails once, he's lucky to get another opportunity. The men of the line counter force with force, and a halfback on the go is no match on a collision course. Smothering a running play can be the result of a fine individual play. 2 men working smoothly in tandem, or the whole line attacking a ball carrier like hungry piranha fish. Whatever method the linemen employ, a phantom flyer is never safe from their deadly grasp. The art of rushing the passer is the second function of the defensive lineman, and by far the most important and demanding. A quarterback with a ball in his hands is the most dangerous man on the field, and a difficult person to contend with. If the fanciful flights of the quarterback are not canceled swiftly, the best you can hope for is a short completion, because the worst could mean the game. So the monsters of the trenches must not let the quarterback elude capture. They must confine him in the pocket so that if they miss him with the first shot, the second will surely kill him. Rushing the passer requires an infinite reservoir of determination to overcome obstacles met along the way. Quarterbacks must be dealt with by pure power or deception, the lineman's second ally. The quarterback must be harassed into frustration or ground into the turf when he is caught unaware from the blind side. When defensive linemen can force the quarterback out of his preconceived plans, he takes away his favorite weapon and makes passing a hazard, another way to defeat. But finally for the lineman, it all comes down to hitting someone. This is part of the inbred violence of the sport. And when it's a time for crunch, defensive linemen treat runner and passer alike. Just nothing more than sacrificial lambs for the slaughter. In a game of hitting, certain linemen stand alone as the best there is, and they're called All-Pros. Dallas Cowboy tackle Bob Lilly has used extraordinary quickness to make him the best and most feared at his position. Defensive end Willie Davis of the world champion Green Bay Packers relies on guile as much as strength and speed to reach opposing quarterbacks. Both Lilly and Davis are magnificent individual performers. But as a single unit, no defensive line is the equal of the front four of the Los Angeles Rams, immortalized by the nickname the Fearsome Foursome. All four men have been All-Pro at least once in their careers. At right end is 6 feet 7 inches, 260-pound Lamar Lundy. The tackles are number 78, Roger Brown, and number 74, Merlin Olsen, a perennial all-league selection from the time he graduated college. If there is a superstar among this line of stars, it's number 75, David Deacon Jones. Blending all the elements of stardom into one destructive package, Jones has become the prototype of the modern defensive end. The Fearsome Foursome operate brilliantly as a unit, and their rewards are the greatest their sport has to offer. But recognition is rare for the average defensive lineman. Theirs are not the faces of excitement, but the somber, grim faces of struggle. But each season, for a select few, there is that one glorious moment when they get to carry the ball, score a touchdown, and fulfill a lineman's dream. However, at times there can be infamy, like the time in 1964 when the Vikings' Jim Marshall ran 65 yards with a recovered fumble the wrong way. For others, there is no notoriety involved, just the opportunity to turn this precious moment into a personal happening, to run like the wind, maneuver like a halfback, and if lucky enough, to cross the goal line. These are the men of the defensive line. But the story of the lineman has another chapter. It's a story no less dramatic, no less exciting, one just as unique. Of the offensive lineman is to pry apart the defense and allow the backs easy access to a touchdown. recognition is uncommon. They create the golden heroes of the golden game, but are not heroes themselves. All the fan sees, whether they're old, young, or pretty, is the runner striding toward fame. The picture catchers of the ends are the flashing image of football's leading men. Offensive linemen are not the players carried off the field in triumph, not the men one tears down goalposts for. Their rewards are more personal, as tackle Dick Shafrath of the Cleveland Browns explains.
It is unrewarding in the fact that the average fan will be watching a receiver, quarterback, or an end, and this is referred to me a lot. Nobody knows who I am because I am a lineman. It does not bother me because you're hitting somebody, you're part of each play. When you're carrying the ball or you're an end, you might not catch a ball for a whole quarter. You're really an active part of the game if you're a lineman because you're in on 100% of the plays.
The center is part of every offensive play, and his job is a very basic one. Guards must be mobile. They have to lead plays and clear away defenders in the path of the runner. The biggest men on the offensive line are the tackles. They must combine straight-ahead power with a certain amount of finesse. At best, blocking for the run is not easy, but protecting a passer is the most difficult and most important skill.
Pass protection is probably the biggest job of any offensive lineman. So I have to, in order to stay in this league and to help the Browns and to be a winner, at least hold my man out 8 out of 10 times.
Pass protection is a long, patient learning process that takes years or maybe a career to fully master. The results of flawless pass blocking are always reflected on the scoreboard. It means keeping the quarterback's uniform clean and his body free from harm. It requires technique, but above all, it takes meanness, something no offensive lineman can be taught.
My attitude has been that you do have to have an animal instinct in you, and you do have to be vicious. I can't see anybody surviving this league without giving 100%. I think you get hurt playing football if you're not giving 100% until the whistle blows.
For the offensive lineman, hitting begins with hand-to-hand combat at the line of scrimmage. Then the hitting moves out to the fringes, where the lineman attacks defenders in a blur of action. Man against man, with the lineman accepting nothing less than perfection, or it cascades into an armada of blockers with a setback tucked away snugly behind their protective buffer. For either an offensive or defensive lineman, it comes down to destroying the man in front of you. This is where it's really at in pro football. For the Browns, it was a game with the Philadelphia Eagles. For the linemen, it meant 60 minutes of unrelenting fury.
March and Gary!
slip you on the linebacker. We may go big on that.
How can their end play so damn tight on me all the time? I can't believe it. Pettigrew just playing head up on me.
Hold me again, Lever. Hold me again. Ready, and punch.
The new gunfighter in town was number 88, young defensive end Gary Pettigrew. To number 77, Dick Shafrath, his challenge would become undeniable.
Leave it there, leave it there.
Ball down right there.
The veteran had struck the first serious blow, and the young end had lost the first round. But youth is a fast healer, and Gary Pettigrew would return to continue the private war.
That's gonna be our ball, I think, Dick.
Oh, hell.
Damn, you gotta be hungry, boy. Let's go.
Well, you can't keep letting him have the big one. Come on, baby. Come on. Gotta get together.
Take it easy.
The Browns were hopelessly behind in the final minutes, but Dick Shafrath wanted one more touchdown to satisfy his pride.
Grab me, Sheriff. Grab me. Grab me now. Let's grab me. Ready, and punch. Hurry up, let's go.
Go, Stick. We go, partner. No, we'll catch me.
The game was almost over. The duel would soon be forgotten. But for Dick Shafrath and every lineman, there would be another Sunday. And the hitting would start all over again.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's great. How yourself? Bless you. What are you trying to do? Kill me? Jeez, this game's over a long time ago. You the hell is that?
It was a game a handful of spectators came to see. A tug of war, 22 nameless men grappling in the mud. They called it pro football.
Hi, I'm Steve Saban. And those lines of script from the 1966 film, They Call It Pro Football, were the first words that John Facenda ever spoke for NFL films. From that point on, his dramatic baritone became one of the key elements of our filmmaking style. Before he started narrating our films, John had earned considerable success as a local TV newscaster here. We thought that John's voice would help take NFL films in a new direction. Before John, our voiceovers were done by play-by-play announcers like Lindsey Nelson and Chris Schenkel. They were real pros, perfect for that area of sports that depends on names and numbers. But sport also appeals to us because it exists in the realm of the imagination. And it was in this realm that John Facenda would become the once and future king. He made his debut by narrating They Call It Pro Football.
It starts with a whistle and ends with a gun. 60 minutes of close-in action from kickoff to touchdown. This is pro football, the sport of our time. The men who play it are the best there are, disciplined professionals who perform on a stage 100 yards long. For the audience crowding the stands, the drama begins with a slap of leather in the song of Men in Motion. 11 trained men face to face on the field of play. Each man a specialist, but one man stands above the rest. He occupies the most critical position in the game. He is the quarterback. He plots, directs, and executes the on-field fortunes of his team. The quarterback lives in a world of pressure. How well he lives with it and reacts to it determines how good he is. He must have a cool disregard for danger and the courage to take punishment. The quarterback has two formidable allies. One is deception. By clever faking, he can confuse the defense and open a clear path for the play. His second ally is the forward pass. It's a long bomb. A screen pass over charging linemen. A bullet from the midst of a traffic jam. The pass in the hands of a pro quarterback is a bolt of lightning that can strike anywhere, anytime. This yard of space is called no man's land. Football games are won or lost by control of this narrow strip of land. The battle for it is a violent one. The hands of combat. The hands of pros. This is the part of the game rarely seen by the spectator. The shattering impact of a block. The mountainous size of an onrushing defender. The splintering force of a forearm shiver. 1 ton of muscle with a one-track mind. Down in the dirt, the lair of the lineman. This is where the game is played. The fringe of no man's land is patrolled by the linebackers. The search and destroy men of the defense. Number 50, search and destroy. Number 58, search and destroy. Sunday after Sunday, pro quarterbacks have learned that whatever play they call, a linebacker is likely to meet it head on. This is the face of the tiger.
The passion in John's voice accentuated the drama of pro football, and it also brought out the poetry of the sport.
Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain? Go face them and fight them. Be savage again. The palms of your hands will thicken. The skin of your cheek will tan. You'll grow ragged and weary and wet. but you must do the best you can. Something somber in the skies, something somber in the eyes of the men. Late autumn in the air, but something of winter in their faces. The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
John's voice was like a musical instrument. In fact, he saw lines of script as if they were passages in a symphony. He prepared for every narration by making special musical notations in the margins of the script. Now, here's one of John's old scripts, and he's written here the word allegro, which means it should be read in a lively fashion. Now, down here, he's written the word fortissimo, which means forcefully. John was truly NFL film's maestro of myth. And even today, 12 years after he passed away, sportscasters and comedians still love to imitate him.
It was like slow motion. It was like those films of those NFL films. Joe Montana threw a, perfect spiral over the middle, and Jerry Rice picked out the cornerback. That guy with the that music.
Although John was a local institution, he wouldn't have been recognized by too many people outside of the Philadelphia area. Yet, he loved to act and was a true ham, in the best sense of the word, though. In 1980, we offered John a modest but meaty part that required him to appear in front of the camera instead of behind the microphone.
Hello there, I'm John Facenda. You are about to see a sneak preview of a buffo, socko, big screen blockbuster soon to be released by NFL Films. Let's take a look, shall we? And as they say in Tinseltown, roll 'em.
John was a good sport with a terrific sense of humor. Listen to these outtakes.
Can I use the word frightfully rather than frightingfully? I'm going to have trouble with that one.
That's a tough word. Okay, that's fine, because we still keep the alliteration. Okay, so it's frightfully instead of frighteningly.
I'm glad you said it.
Okay.
It was fiercely fought, but frightfully blawed. Let's take that over again.
This name is Hawkins, John.
An original Raider, Wayne Harkins.
I got that wrong that time.
Wayne Harkins. Shoot now. Come on, John. And original Raider... Oh, no, wait a minute. And original Raider... No. I'm trying to figure out your damn writing.
Hawkins, John. Hawkins.
Wayne Harkins. I had it then.